What's going on? Welcome to Totally Blitz Podcast. We're here to talk divisional round of the playoffs, recapping what went down Saturday and Sunday. As always, go down, like, and subscribe. Comment what you thought of the Saturday and Sunday games. If your team's still going, let us hear it. If your team lost, let us know how. I'm Paul. Pick 'em, win 'em, Contra, and I'm joined with.
You already know, man. It's that boy Kept Water Boy Boy, aka the Dom PYE. Always the realest on your screen. And more than anything, it's a motherfucker that got to watch some great football on the couch. See, week two is a lot better than week one of the NBA of the playoffs because week two was like, all right, we ready. We were supposed to be here. Let's just chill.
No, a lot of games were close. Week one was a lot of blowouts, whereas I won't gonna say blowouts, but multiple possession games where like it wasn't just within one score by the end of it. Like this week was every game, mostly every game was within one possession at the end.
I think that's the interesting concept of the seventh seed because it's like the seventh seed makes it very interesting when it comes to the end of the season stuff. But when have you seen an interesting 2 versus 7 game?
Well, the first time ever this year when the Packers beat the Cowboys.
Oh, that was a 2-7?
Yeah, that was the first time in the history because it was all new. It was only like 3 years
Oh,
with the two
thank you.
seven, and the Packers were the first ever seven. That's what added more insult to injury. It was like they were the first ever seventh seed to actually win a game.
Ooh, thank
And
you,
then
Paul. I was
what did they follow up with? Like 21-24 against the 49ers, and there was a good chunk of this game where they looked like the better team.
oh wow, thank you, Paul. 'Cause I didn't want to keep saying that out loud because I was like, damn, bro, I like he's like the 7 seed thing, but like, boy, the first
Uh,
round, the first
the,
be so shitty.
the Packers put on for the seventh seed, but the seventh seed ain't going no fucking way after what the Packers did this year for them boys.
Shout out to the boys. But yeah, I mean, this week was fucking phenomenal. You got to see, it felt like all the stars were out. Fucking Lamar, Josh Allen, fucking Pat Mahomes, fucking Jordan Love was doing this thing. It just felt like all the stars brought. There were no pretenders on the field.
Baker, Baker,
Baker,
Baker,
Oklahoma Baker. What?
Calvin
I'm
Johnson.
not gonna lie. Mike Evans.
I think Calvin Johnson popped up at the game for Detroit. I don't know if Barry
Yeah.
Sanders was there. Shit, maybe.
Mike
I don't know.
Jameer Gibbs, Mike Evans and them boys. Like Nick was putting on this weekend.
Swift,
Who?
Jason Taylor Swift.
Oh, this guy.
Jason Kelsey was there without a shirt in the stands, supporting his brother.
Yeah. Rasheed Rice was eating.
Yeah, that was
But
pop.
yeah, that was, and that's we're not even talking defenses. We haven't even brought up the defenses. What? Great fucking week. So where do you want to start?
We start well. The first game, just get it out of the way because it's probably gonna be the quickest game. Ravens beating the Texans 34-10. It was 10-10 at halftime, and then that's when the Ravens defense locked up, and that's when the Ravens offense continued to do what they do. Lamar showed it where he don't forget he can run too. But yeah, I mean once again, the Ravens took a good team and just showed them like, hey, like we're here for on a mission this year. Like we're not here just to beat you. We're gonna like beat you.
Yeah, they said Lamar said he wanted to lock him through a whole lot of snapping. Like
Did
they
he?
figured something out and made the adjustments to go. And what I like about it was they scored those 24 points, but like Lamar didn't have no crazy nice numbers. Like the throwing wise. I think
Yeah,
what
no,
throw like
not throwing
165.
wise, but he ran for 100. Like he started like using them legs again, and I was like, okay, this is
Mm,
2 touchdowns, 100 yards. Like that's the Lamar from early on.
and he's not taking those unnecessary shots. Like he's the shits that add up. He's not really taking those like that.
And then the Ravens defense, like Kyle Hamilton, I feel like was all over. The Roquan Smith was just like literally taking people soul out their body with some of the hits he was putting on. But CJ Stroud, 175 yards. Singletary, leading rusher with 22 yards. Like their offense. I don't know. I don't even know if their offense amassed over 200 total yards. They kind of. I mean, not 250 yards. I don't know if they amassed more than 250 yards. Like the Ravens defense is just looking like it's looking like the best defense. I know everyone kept saying it with the
It's
Browns.
the best defense.
It's
Not
not.
everyone. You were saying
Statistically,
about.
everyone the statistics you know every week it would be like the Browns are on pace to only allow this many fucking first downs. Like they kept having like all these crazy statistics for the Browns. Whereas the Ravens, when you watch on paper, like watch actual games, you're sitting there like, yo, I don't know if anyone's fucking with this Ravens defense.
Nah, the Ravens have been showing them they were a problem. Once I saw them do what they did to the 49ers, I was like, oh, yeah, the boys is not one to be fucked with even slightly. The Ravens are on a mission, and they don't give a fuck about that. Shout out C.J. Stroud and D'Amico Ryans for making it as far as they did in the
First
playoffs.
year.
This team has showed that they have a lot of promise. This wide receivers core has played phenomenal all season. So yeah, I'm very interested in football in Texas right now.
Yeah,
And
and then
definitely not for the Cowboys.
that boy Harbaugh was getting frisky in the fucking a post game in the locker room. This team looking like
You know, he says that this should be looking so cool until he sees it. Until he rewatches it with his daughters at home, and he's just like, "Yeah, what the fuck was I doing?
nah, keep going, Harbaugh. I'm with you, big dog.
Keep doing it, man. Imagine two Harbaughs winning the Super Bowl, winning the championships this year.
See, sometimes I wish I was the age I am now to witness like the Jim and John Hart. Like I feel like that Super Bowl would have hit so much harder. Like as a kid, I was like, oh yeah, they're brothers. It's cool to. But like now, like I would pay money to see that Super Bowl rematch right now. Like give me like
Yeah,
especially the teams that they had at that time. Joe Flacco on the playoff run, Colin Kaepernick scorch earth.
yeah. And imagine if they switch.
But let's get to the let's jump right over to his former team, 49ers. Uh Kyle Shanahan, Christian McCaffrey, Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy didn't look too good, but like, yeah, this 49ers defense, they get the dub over Green Bay Packers 24-21. Uh, I mean, Packers were in the lead up until the fourth quarter. The fourth quarter, I feel like the 49ers kind of turned on a little bit more. They weren't, but Brock Purdy, I would say now the 49ers got lucky because there was like three passes that Brock Purdy threw that could have been intercepted. Like I was like, yo, like he just like who the fuck did he throw that one to? And it didn't the football gods didn't have that happen. We're sitting here talking about 49ers getting the dub.
Man, do you think weather played a factor? I heard it was a little wet.
Maybe, but it's in their home territory. Like you can't be making all those excuses if that's your home field. That's like the Dolphins saying it was too hot. Like you don't think cramps played a factor in the state. It's like bro, like it's Miami Dolphins.
Each bananas before you leave the house.
Yeah,
But no, I respect it. I mean, I think Jordan Love and them boys is actually something promising. I don't know if they're the youngest in history, but I definitely seen a style where they're like the youngest team in the playoffs. And for them to do what they're doing is very, very like I take my hats off to them for them outlasting and going against the odds. So shout out them boys. But this 49ers team show that they're very human this week.
yeah. They them and CJ Stroud, like Texans and Packers, like this is you can't even be mad. If I was a fan, I understand you'd be upset, like, oh, I want to go to the Super Bowl. We made it this far, but like y'all sitting pretty good. Y'all both have young quarterbacks, young cores. The Packers were the like fourth youngest team in the NFL, the youngest team in the playoffs,
Uh
and look, they almost beat a team that a lot of people are right now. If you were to go bet to who win the Super Bowl, who will have the lowest odds will be the 49ers. They're the favorite to win the Super Bowl right now. They're the favorite to win the Super Bowl last week. They're the favorite to win it 3 weeks ago. Like he almost knocked them off with this young team, just like the Texans. Like, dude, pat yourself on the back. I know. I wish I was in the same boat, but we ain't looked that good.
But yeah, I mean, this is the healthiest Kyle Shanahan coming to the playoffs for a while in a while. So we'll see what they can do.
Yeah. Well, Debo is 50-50 to play. So, and there,
Mm.
I was seeing some statistics that was like, them with Debo, a lot of wins, a few losses. Then without Debo, a few more losses than what you would expect.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. Next games. Now we go to Sunday. Sunday, I think, was the fun barn burners here.
Danger.
Yeah, Lions 31, Bucks 23.
And don't let that score fool you. It was a fucking game.
Yeah, still one possession. It should have been 24-31, but the Bucks go for two on their last score and didn't get it. Uh, Baker,
Yo,
Baker was baking. Goff was cooking. The defenses were both kind of playing good moments. Baker did throw two interceptions. That arguably could have been one of the factors. It was the game sealing interception, and then one of the opening drives to an interception. Um, how you texted me? We was finna see OU Baker out
yeah,
there.
I'm watching Oklahoma Baker at the time. I'm thinking like, oh, this man Baker, because it was every time that the Lions punched, they punched back, they answered back. Like even when like the second half, I sent you that text message because it was the last 2 minutes and they're closing out, and these motherfuckers go like 7 plays, 93 yards, touchdown.
For halftime.
A minute and 5 seconds type shit. I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Boom. So I'm like, oh, these niggas is nice. Mike Evans was really doing the fuck out of sight. I mean, doing his ass the worst way. So I'm looking like, oh, and then Baker's making it happen with his legs. He's out here giving it down to his check down. He's looking all over the place. I'm like, oh, this OU Baker. Until we fast forward and we get to that last play, and he throws that interception and his team to send his team back home. That shit was tragic.
It hurts. I mean, I picked them to win, I think, but like oh no, I picked the Lions, but I picked them to cover. They didn't cover. That's what hurt the worst is because they went for two, so they didn't cover the spread. Kyle texted me that shit. I completely forgot. He was like, you know what just pissed me off even more is I put $50 on them to cover 7.5. They went for two and lost by 8, and I was like,
That's tragic.
poor guy, bro. But yeah, um, these are the two teams I low key rooting for the rest of the playoffs. Now the Dolphins were out, just because like I wanted to see Baker do some crazy shit. Like, cause you saw Baker be cutting up on the field, bro. You gotta enjoy Baker. Baker be doing the dance moves, fucking doing the extra additives after plays.
Hey, OU Baker be doing this thing, man. I will say that, but one thing I will say, I'm not a Bucks fan. I low key hate the motherfuckers, but I will say there's no quitting them boys. Them boys definitely give it everything they got because that defense was not giving up all game, no matter what happened. Never got put down in the dumps on some shit.
And the Lions go to the NFC title game first time. I don't know since when, bro. This is some a lot of people weren't breathing air last time this shit they were there. They never won a Super Bowl. The last time they won it, it was like the championship game. It wasn't even called a Super Bowl, like 1957.
To be a team, to be a franchise for that long, and to never be able to say that is crazy.
So I'm pulling for them boys. Go Lions.
I mean, somebody said it best. They said the Lions is an example of when executives meet coaching and players, they all just catch in a big union and they meet around the fire and they put sparks on it because the synergy between the three is very nice right now. I don't know how long that will last. I don't know how long it'll keep going, but as of right now, you're showing that they just this is the trusting the process is the best thing they can do. And now they went from mediocrity to NFC champ to being in the NFC championship.
And not only are they like in that moment, but to know that like the whole America is behind them. Like they showed it was like a map. I know it's not a real map, but this is basically how it feels. It was like people because it's 49ers versus Lions. for the NFC Championship game next week, and it was like the map was like the people who are going for what team in America. Cali was red for the 49ers, and the rest of America was blue for Detroit Lions. And I was like, I know I'm riding for Detroit Lions. I hope they get a Dubsky. Like, I just think
I, I'm low key want to see my Lions do it, but like I would love to see a Ravens versus 49ers Super Bowl. That'd go crazy.
no, I really would. But next game, two teams that know each other well. Chiefs,
Facts.
Bills. Chiefs win 27, Bills 24. We were both on the Bills. You were shocked I took the Bills. And the weirdest thing was I thought I picked the Chiefs up until near kickoff, and I was rewatching the episode, and I was like, "Oh fuck, I did pick the Bills. Like, what the fuck was I?" I was like, "Bro, like their linebacker core is hurt. Like they're not gonna be able to have anyone to cover Kelsey because that's who's gonna end up on. Kelsey's gonna be the backup of a backup of a backup linebacker. Like, yeah, like this that. So I actually cashed the Travis Kelsey touchdown score, and I parlayed that with Almon St. Brown touchdown score, and like that paid pretty well. But Chiefs getting it done. Chiefs is just as simple as they just know them. They just can't get over. This is similar to like the Bengals versus Chiefs. Bengals always beat the Chiefs, and then just like the Chiefs will always beat the Bills. Is it one of those like one's rock, one's paper, one's scissors?
I just think the Bills just are always going to be their own worst enemy. You can blame it on Tyler Bass missing the field goal.
Bruh.
Definitely. I know that shit was hurtful. But
Bruh.
like that shit was hurtful. And it looked like it was going in and just literally just turned out of nowhere. So it was just
He
like,
no
oh wow.
longer has social media. He's off of social media. They
Oh
deleted
yeah.
all.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a long time. He had a long day, you feel me? But I respect, but there was a lot of bad decision making, I think, throughout the game, especially later in the game. There was a play I think they went for it on 4th and 5 on their own 29 type shit, some crazy shit like that. So like they're on top of the injuries, on top of the bad decision making, this Bills team wasn't equipped to win. It was cool to say like, oh, Patrick Mahomes never been to Buffalo. That's what doesn't fucking matter. Big time players can play.
Fucking matter.
Big time players don't believe in that shit. So that's what Pat Mahomes showed us. And shout out to Bills Mafia because they came out deep. I seen them boys doing flips through firing tables and shit. But
Said they had on fire. So
yeah, this Chiefs team is back in the conference finals championship.
but they said you didn't know this show got wheels. Like we can take this bitch on the road. This bitch traveling circus. Buffalo 4th and 5, Kev. They don't even leave the offense on the field. They go with the punt squad and they fake the punt. And you know who gets the ball? Damar Hamlin. And he gets stuffed. And I will say Twitter was having a fucking field day with the fact that Damar Hamlin was the one who got stuffed. The playoff moment that basically sealed the game not sealed it, but it was one of the big factors on why they lost against the Chiefs in the playoffs again.
That's interesting. But I will say this: the game was amazing. It felt like a heavyweight fight. It felt like a heavyweight fight every time you looked up. Like it was just like, oh dang, they swung. Oh, they swung. Oh, they swung. And there was like a lot of motherfuckers landed. Like that last touchdown from the Bills, that one in on the third two on the Shaquille dude or Shaquille, like that shit. That shit was so nice.
Right. Stephon Diggs was in a fucking box. Right. They had. There was that one play he could have caught the deep over the head and just went right through his hands. But you know how after the first loss against the Chiefs, he was standing out there looking at them, watching them do the whole ceremony, right? And then 2 years ago when they lost in overtime, or a year ago when they lost in overtime, Stephon Diggs sat out there, watched the ceremony again for the Chiefs. And then this year, I guess he stood out there again to watch the Chiefs Like just stood on the field for an extra moment. So Stephon Diggs, 3 years in a row, has watched the Chiefs, stood longer to watch the Chiefs. Nick, not Nick, Willie Gay. You remember Willie Gay, the linebacker?
Mm-hmm.
He
They're pretty
posted,
nice.
yeah, he posted on his Instagram that photo of Stephon Diggs on standing out there again. He was like, "Buddy's been standing there for 3 years now. Ain't he tired?" And then he said, like, "Buddy, Buddy ain't tired yet. He's been standing there for 3 years. Buddy, or is Buddy crying or some shit? I don't know, but he was talking crazy shit to Stephon Diggs. I don't know.
Not for real.
I don't know if he's retired or what, but I know he definitely played for the Chiefs. But yeah, he called talk crazy shit. The Chiefs do what Chiefs do. Patrick Mahomes. We're gonna see a Patrick Mahomes versus Lamar Jackson AFC Championship game, and I honestly can't wait for it. And honestly, with the way they're playing, and probably deservedly so. We got two of the best defenses and two really good offenses. Anything else you have on the before we get out of here about like Chiefs Bills and then like the future preview? We got Lamar versus Mahomes.
Yeah, I mean, next week is gonna be fucking insane. These are the games you want to see, the games you fucking love. Everything about it is gonna be nice. Motherfucking they have the fact that the Chiefs, the Lamar gets to go through the Chiefs. Like this is the Chiefs going to their sixth consecutive maybe AFC Championship. So Lamar has to go through the Chiefs is kind of poetic justice. As we can tell, the Chiefs have Buffalo's number and they will forever own that motherfucker. And that's my take on this shit.
Yeah. Well, we'll catch up, boys, next week still. But I'm talking this 4 games, 3 close ones. 49ers beating Packers, banger. Lions beating Bucks, banger. Chiefs beating Bills, banger. Fuck it, we go on the road with it. And the Ravens taking care of business once again. Like they had the bye week. They come off the bye week and show like once again like no team is fucking with the Ravens right now. So
Facts. They stood up business.
we got to see if that carries over. And they'll be at home because they're the number one team. They'll be hosting the Patrick Mahomes Chiefs, whereas the 49ers will be hosting the Detroit Lions. And we'll catch y'all to break those games down. So always go down, like and subscribe, comment what y'all thought on the games this week. Hell, you make a pick for next week. I'm Paul Pick and Winner, joined with Kev Waterboy Savoy. And if y'all didn't know, what now y'all know, motherfuckers.